everyone, welcome to the PowerApps full course for beginner playlist. In this video, you will learn how you can apply multiple filters on table control which is displaying data from SharePoint list. Hi, this is Krupali from KnowHow Academy. Before going ahead in this video, let me tell you what you will learn from this video. First, you will learn why there is a need of filtering data in table control which is displaying SharePoint list. Second, you will learn what is filter formula in PowerApp. Third, you will learn practical implementation of filtering data using filter formula in PowerApp. Fourth, you will learn how to apply multiple filters in table control in PowerApp. Fifth, you will get tips while applying multiple filters in PowerApp. So stay tuned till end of the video so you will get answer of your all question. So without delay, let's start. So first of all, let me tell you why there is a need of filtering data. So let me show you practically. Here you can see on your screen that I am displaying data of employee, which list is there in SharePoint. Now here if you see that if I want to find the employee who are from IT department, so what I need to do? I need to just scroll and then find out which employee is there in IT department. If I want to find how many employees are there in my organization whose status is active, so what I need to do? I need to scroll down and then I need to count. So every time scrolling table data will make you frustrated if data is too much. So to overcome the problem of this, there is a need of filtering data. The second reason is to apply filter on table is that if your data source does not support delegation, then it is hard to find data who is out of the delegation limit. So applying filter will help you to load data based on specific condition. Third reason is that it will make your search process easy on data. So that's why there is a need of applying filter in table control. Second, let me tell you which formula will help you to filter your data. So in PowerApp, the name of the formula is filter itself that will help you to filter the data from any control or from data source. Now let me tell you the third thing, how you can apply filter formula in your table control in PowerApp using practical way. So first of all, before going ahead, let me tell you which data I am using. So in my SharePoint, there is one list which I made which is displaying the data of employee. Now this list contains the department where employee is working, then in which division they are working, date of birth, email ID, gender, what is the status of employee, what is the start date of employee, what is the end date of employee in that organization. And you will see that rest of the personal information like first name, last name, if employee is terminated, what is the reason for termination. So all these things are there. Now what I want to display this information in my PowerApp. So how I will display? So I will take table control in PowerApp which will help me to show data in a tabular format. So let's design that. So let me close this and here let me take a new screen. So I'm taking new screen. Now here I will take different filters and here I will take table. So let me first take a table. So let me just write table. So this is a table, modern table control. You can take it or you can take classic data table control, but I am taking modern table control. And let me just fix the width and height. So let me just go to the properties and let me fix the height dynamically. So parent.width and height, I will take it as a parent.height. Parent.height. And then let me set the data source. So here I have already added my SharePoint list in my data source. Let me show you. So this is my SharePoint list. So if you click on the data, here you will be able to see employee data. So data will automatically display. You can select the fields which you want to display. So I am selecting field which I want to display. That is employee ID, employee first name, then employee status, department, and so on. So let me just quickly fix that. So here you can see that I am displaying employee ID, first name, department, gender, status, and performance. Now you can see that when I run this, all field width is not properly there. Some of the field width is large, some of the field width is not properly set. So how can I do that? So I need to set the field height or width according to the screen size. So for that, what I will do, I want to display 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 column. So what I will do, I will occupy 1/6 width of the screen, or you can say container, to that particular field. What I will do, I will go to the table control, and in each field width property I will set a dynamic width. So let me just remove 0. 0 means you can adjust the width at the time of running the application, but I don't want. So you should write parent width divided by 6. So you know that one field will occupy 1/6 size of the container. And let me copy this and paste it everywhere. Paste it every field width. Now you can see the width of the field is adjusted according to the screen size. Now if you don't want scroll, so you can decrease the width of the employee ID. So let me just go to the employee ID field, and instead of 6, let me just give 8. So size will shrink according to that. And here in first name also, I want not that much width. So let me go to that, and this is the table I want in the first name. So let me do that, and here let me, instead of 6, let me write 8. Okay, no, it's too much shrink. Okay, so instead of 8, let me write 7. Okay, so scroller is added. So just keep as it is, save it and run it. So basically you can adjust the width as per your need. I just set dynamic width by writing parent width by number of fields. So it will help you. Okay, now the next thing is that how I can filter table data. So here let me just add one text box, that is label. Here I am adding, and I am adding one text input. And here whatever I will write in that text input control, it will filter data based on that. So let me just quickly adjust the control alignment and all these things. And here whatever I will write, it will filter. So let me give a name to that, txt search data. Here I want to filter data based on employee first name. So in table control there is one property called item property. So in item property, here employee data is written, but what I want to write, I want to filter data. So I need to write filter formula. So let me zoom little bit so you will get an idea what I am writing. So remove this, and here write filter formula, not here, sorry, here, filter. Then inside that you need to write from which data source you want to filter. So I want to filter data from the employee data. So this is two data source. You can see this is employee data and this is employee data is in small. So let me check it out, the employee data which is there is a SharePoint list. So here this is employee DATA is in a capital. So I need to select that. If same data source is there, then we need to make sure from where we want to display data. Then I need to write start with. Then you need to mention the table name from which you want to apply the filter. So again here you need to write employee data, not the data source name, but column name you need to mention. So I want to apply this filter on a first name column. So you can select the first name, and based on what you want to filter, so txt search data dot value, and let me just close the bracket of filter, and let me close the bracket of start with. So let me just save it and run it. Now when I write let's say K, so it will filter data from the SharePoint list with first name start with K. If I write A, you can see it will display the data from the SharePoint list whose name start with A. But you can see some little bit delay in that. Let me show you. Let's say I want to select the person name whose name start with R. So you can see that little bit search is like that, and then it will display. So why it is happening? Because when you go to the text box control, so here trigger output is written, and here you can see that focused out. Focused out means when you write and within a fraction of second it will display, but it will take lots of load while processing the data. So other than this, you can take this delayed. That means once you write within a second, then it will start searching its process. So let me show you. Now here, let me just write name H, then Hector. So when I am writing, it will not start searching. So when I complete the writing, then it will start. So it will create less overhead. Okay, so whatever you want to do, you can do. So there are three options: delayed, focus out, and key press. You can try and check it out, but I am suggesting you to keep it delay. Why? Because it will create less overhead on that. So here we apply filter, which will filter data from a table control based on whatever formula we have written. So you learn the practical implementation of applying filter in table control. But the fourth thing, let me tell you how you can apply multiple filters on table control, which is displaying data from SharePoint list. So let me show you. So here you can see that department information is there, gender information is there, status information there is, and performance information is there. Now I want to filter data based on three things. First, as I mentioned, the text which I am writing on the text box. The second thing, I want to filter data based on gender. And third thing, I want to filter data based on status. So first of all, what I will do, I will take two drop down lists which will display the unique information of that field. So let me take a drop down list. But before that, let me just quickly format this. Okay, so I formatted. Now let me add one drop down list. So select the container and insert first one label based on which we want to format. So let me just add a label, and for that let me add drop down list. Okay, so I am taking more than drop down list, and let me give the name, not name but text, you can say. And here in this drop down list, I want to display unique information of a gender column. So let me just remove this from the item property of the drop down list and write distinct, and inside the bracket you need to write the data source and from which column you want to display the distinct data. So from gender column you want to display distinct data. Now let me save it and run it. Now here you will see that whatever the unique informations are there, it will display here. Now I want to do same for the status. So once again I need to take text label and drop down list. So here you can see all the unique status you can see in this drop down list, and here you can see that whatever the unique value of gender column, you can see that. Now what I want to do, let's say if I am writing nothing here, so it will display all the data. Now what I want to do, if I write K and if I select female, then it will display the data whose name start with K and whose gender is female. But right now male and female both informations are there. So how can I do that? So I can add one more fields in filter formula. So let me click on the table control and let me go to the items property and let me expand the filter formula. Now here you can see that I have written the filter formula. So let me just format it properly by selecting and click on format text. So data will be, so the formula is written in a proper formatted manner with the indentation. Now what I want to filter my data whose name start with the given text and whose department, or you can say whose gender is whatever selection I have done. So what I can do, I can apply here the end condition. So let's say here if I write end, and then let me complete the bracket of end here, and then inside the end first condition, first criteria I am giving whose name start with the given text end. So for that I need to write the comma, and I need to mention the another criteria for filtering. So let me just write it, and then I want to select data based on gender. So you should write the name of the column equal to whatever the drop down list name is there. So I need to check it what is the name of my drop down list. So my drop down list is drop canvas 3 and the second drop down list is canvas 4. Let me just quickly change the name. So I change the name, you can see that. Now let me go back to the filter formula, and right now it is showing an error because I did not mention anything. So here you should write the first filter criteria, that is gender equal to drop down gender, not status, sorry, gender dot selected dot value. So based on that it will filter data. Let me just save it and run it. Let's say here I want to display data of male and whose name start with K. So you can see that if I select male, here only male information will be there. Let's say if instead of K I am writing A. So here you can see that the employee name start with A actually. Okay. So here filter will be applied. So whose name start with A and whose gender is male, that data will display. Now this is a 2 filter. Now I want to apply third filter also. So what I can do, let me go back here and let me just write a third end condition. So write a comma after that and write another filter condition. So I want to filter data based on status. Okay, so status equal to, so this is the name of the column, then DRP status data dot selected dot value. So it will filter data based on 3 things: first name, then gender, and then status. So let me save it and run it. So here you can see nothing is displaying. Why? The reason is that in status I did not select anything. You can say it's a blank, but if I select the future start, it will display data. Let's say if I am changing the first name, that is Krupali, and male, and whether it's a future start or not, let's say active. So this type of employees are not there, so it is not showing anything. Let's say if I am selecting male, so no, but let's say voluntarily terminated, no data. So let me remove my name and just write K. So here it will display. So voluntarily terminated. Data will display whose gender is female and whose employee name start with K. But here one problem is there. The problem is that when I stop the application run and when I just run it again, if nothing is selected, it should display all the data. But here it is not like that. So what I can do, I can put one reset button that will help me to reset each and every control. So it will first display all the information, then if I select any filter criteria, based on that it will display. So let me just add one more control here. Let me just add button control, and let me just remove the text, and I want to display icon. So I will select icon only, and here I can put the icon, let's say reset icon. Okay, and here on button click event, I will reset my 3 control, that is text search data, I will reset, then another that is DRP gender, and another that is reset DRP status data. Okay, and let me just save it and run it. If I reset, still I am not able to see. Why? Because the reason is that when I am writing a filter formula, at that time it is taking the information from the drop down list uh, of the gender and status. Basically, when I reset, nothing is selected. So it tried to find the blank gender and blank status, because this type of data are not there, so it is not displaying any. So what I can do, when first time it is loading, or when you can say all the controls are in reset mode, at that time I want to display all the information. If something is selected, then I want to display data according to that. So I write this filter condition inside the if, and if any drop down is blank, then it will display all the data. Otherwise, it will display data according to the filter condition. So what I can do, let me just modify this formula. First, write the if condition, and inside if condition, what I need to do, first I need to check whether the first drop down and the second drop down is empty or not. So I'm just writing or, and if any one of the drop down is blank, it will display all the data. So let me just, if DRP gender selected equal to blank, and that is indication if nothing is selected. Okay, and then I want to display employee data, and otherwise I want to display filter data. Okay, so this is the filter condition, and let me end the if bracket here. Okay, now I want to give a second or criteria, because whatever criteria I want to map, I want to write it in or and as per my requirement. So let me just write DRP status data dot selected equal to blank, or you can say selected value, not only selected, but selected value dot blank. Then it will display properly. Now let's save it and run it. Let me reset everything. Now let's say if nothing is selected, then it will display according to that. Now let's say here female is selected and voluntarily terminated is selected, then it will display data based on my selection. Now I want to display whose name start with S. So let me just write again S. So here you can see that only the female information will display who is voluntarily terminated and their first name start with S. And if I reset it, all the data will display. Here you can see the row count change. And here, just first name is just cut it out. So let me fix that. So let me just decrease the width of the button. So here it will not cut. And let me save it and run it. So here all things will display according to my need. So this way you can apply multiple filters, and make sure that you select this formula and click on format text. So it will convert your formula with the proper indentation. So when you are reading in future, you will easily understand what this formula is about. So this way you can apply multiple filters on table control, which is displaying data from SharePoint list. Now last but not the least, let me tell you the tips that will help you to apply multiple filters. So the first tip is that if you are applying multiple filter, use filter formula with either and or condition. So here you can see that I apply or condition, and based on my need I will select the data. And also here you can see that I apply and condition, and based on my requirement I select the data. Now it is one advice that whenever you are filtering data based on multiple conditions, so one of the control you should take as a text box. So you can apply start with like that, and rest of the thing it is advisable to put it in a drop down list. And the second tips, when you want to filter data, don't use lookup formula. Why? Because lookup formula will give only one result, while filter formula will return multiple records. So these are the tips that you need to keep it in mind. Before ending this video, let me tell you what you have learned from this video. First, you learn why there is a need of filtering data. Second, which formula you can use to filter data. Third, you have seen the practical implementation of applying filters on table control. Fourth, you learn how to apply multiple filters on table control. And fifth, you get tips that will help you to keep it in mind while working with multiple filters. Thank you for choosing KnowHow Academy as a source of your IT knowledge. We are always here to help you to navigate to the tech world. If you have any question, do not feel hesitate to reach out to us. Stay curious, keep learning.